Good afternoon and welcome. At the outset, I want to thank those who have participated in this event today, both as speakers and as participants. When we at Sibanye-Stillwater launched this commemoration event 3 years ago, we did so with a dual intention. Firstly, to honor and remember those who died at Marikana in 2012, and secondly, to encourage and stimulate thought leadership and critical discourse on the issues that face us as a society today, particularly in our mining industry and in the districts where we operate. In honoring and remembering those who died 10 years ago, we do so genuinely and with sorrow. But we also hope and believe that our actions in honoring the past, engaging in the present, and creating a new future speak louder than words. Even though Sibanye-Stillwater did not even exist at the time of the tragic events at Marikana, when we acquired Lonmin, we committed to take on that responsibility for the legacies. We have made great strides in honoring the commitments made to the widows and the families. The planning that is currently underway for the construction of the memorial site is inclusive and considered. These have been some time in the making, but we understand that this is part of an extended healing journey, and the voices of those who were so tragically affected must be heard. I certainly hope and expect that by this time next year, we will be able to unveil the fruits of this collective thinking as a significant step towards securing closure. More than that, though, we have actively sponsored the Letsema process as part of an overall program of renewal for the Marikana society. The Letsema engagement process involves an independently facilitated, inclusive approach to engage with all stakeholders in the community through collaborative engagements. This will deliver tangible and sustainable benefits for all stakeholders with strong ownership by society. This engagement process effectively enables all stakeholders to come together to collectively shape a new destiny for the region. The Marikana renewal program supported by the Letsema process is, I believe, unlike any that has ever been sponsored by the private sector. It aims to come to terms with and learn from the tragedy, while actively building on the seeds of hope and reconciliation. For those who are not aware of the depth and breadth of the program, I urge you to look at the Marikana Renewal website to appreciate the scope that is being covered. I must emphasize that this is not a journey that we have traveled alone. We are very pleased to have received an overwhelmingly constructive response from those affected by the tragedy and those in the district who live under its shadow. I'm proud to say that Sibanye-Stillwater has stepped up and enabled this process, not because we have been compelled to do so or feel the need to gain recognition, but because it's the right thing to do. Again, I trust that our actions will speak for themselves. I have covered two of the fundamental pillars of our Marikana renewal program, honor and engage. I now want to talk about the third pillar, create. That is the most critical for shaping the future. You will have seen in the video that was shown earlier some of the work that we are doing at and around Marikana to create economic opportunity and undertake social reconstruction. This we do here and in all other parts of our operating footprint because it is the right thing. Since the inception of our Ndoni tree in 2013, under the banner of stakeholder capitalism, this Sibanye tree, which you can see in my backdrop, has provided a sound guide for our activities to create value and benefit all stakeholders. This was long before terms such as ESG and stakeholder capitalism became mainstream. We unreservedly acknowledge that the history of mining abounds with practices that damage the fabric of society in the interests of a few. But I firmly believe that we have learned since that era, not only over the last decade, but for a number of decades now, that mining must be conducted in a way that builds social and economic capital for all stakeholders. Doing the right thing is multifaceted and supported by programs directed in key areas, such as creating direct and indirect jobs and meaningful economic opportunity through targeted and developmental local procurement, constructing roads, schools, and other infrastructure, creating the capacity for teaching and learning and giving people lifelong skills. And by doing this in both a socially and environmentally responsible way, companies, and especially mining companies, have the capacity to drive change, to achieve social justice, and create enduring value. This is not philanthropy. This is good business. Practices that we preach and live by, with value creation for all stakeholders central to the success of our sustainable profit-making strategy. This brings me to the conversation of a socio-economic compact, a framework that those of you who know me is something I wholeheartedly support and believe in. We experienced the power of concerted action when we were faced with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic that has exerted a dominating influence over the past 2 years. With stakeholders working together to attain common goals, we navigated the pandemic through all its phases. As business, we fulfilled an active role in supporting the healthcare programs, providing relief from social distress, and setting up vaccination facilities that could serve community needs. We were successful in protecting both lives and livelihoods as best we could under the circumstances. We need much more of the same to address other pandemics that we are facing, such as the scourge of gender-based violence, the national economic crisis that results from low GDP growth, well below the levels required for a sustainable society. A social compact at its heart is the voluntary collaboration of entities in delivering social advancement and value. A socio-economic compact transforms the desire to do good into shared value through economic profitability. Responsible business will deliver social value, but their main and most important role in the ecosystem is to create the economic value that enables and drives shared value and social progress. Business is the engine of socio-economic development and progress. I say this again, as I've said before. In a socio-economic compact, we, as business, are the economic partners. Yes, of course, we support social good, but responsible economic value creation that benefits all stakeholders must be our primary focus as part of a flourishing and durable ecosystem. And it is in this socio-economic compact that I believe that we, as society, as citizens of this country, can find one another and deliver an outcome that can lead us from underperforming as a nation to good and even great. I'm hopeful and optimistic. Thank you.